back with another video on the top 5 shooting guards of this NBA draft class. So before we start, let me hear your opinions down below, and please stay to the end of this video so YouTube watch time go up. So let's talk about the top 5 shooting guards in this year's NBA draft. So I think we can all agree Anthony Edwards out of Georgia is the best shooting guard in this year's draft. I think he just finished his freshman season there. Let's just talk about the strengths. This guy, he's an explosive athlete. He's an uber leaper. He's just an incredible athlete. And he's one of the youngest prospects in this class. And he actually got into basketball late, so he's still developing a lot. He has a really good shot selection ability off the dribble. He's got a great frame and strength for his age and size. For being 6'5", he weighs 225 pounds. That's really, really good. While his weakness is, even though he has really good, incredible shot creation off the dribble, he has a tendency to have questionable shot selection and often settled for bad shots at Georgia. And on the defensive end, he has everything needed to be a great defender, but he has a touch and go defensive motor. And his volume scoring didn't significantly impact winning in college for a mediocre University of Georgia's team. So he could put up the points and stuff, but they didn't translate to wins. So I think his ceiling is a Donovan Mitchell with more strength and a better natural athleticism, and his floor is Norman Powell. So ceiling, a more athletic Donovan Mitchell, and his floor is a Norman Powell, the Toronto Raptors, which I think is a really good potential. Josh Green out of Arizona is the second best shooting guard in this year's draft class, standing at 6'5", 205 pounds. He's the 12th best ranked top 100 prospect in this year's draft. So if we're going to just talk about his skills, the freshman out of Arizona is a pretty decent shooter, an adequate scorer off the dribble. He's great at these off-ball motion plays to get open for catch and shoot scenarios, and he's a pretty good playmaker for being a shooting guard. And he's got a great rebounding for, again, being a shooting guard. He'll get you some boards, he'll make some assists for you, even if you don't expect him to do it all the time. And he's a pretty good athlete for his size, 6'5", 205 pounds. And he's a solid defender that'll get you steals and disrupt plays by putting himself into passing lanes. Now, if we talk about his cons, I told you that he's good at scoring, but doesn't mean he's consistent. He's a pretty inconsistent shooter. He struggles to consistently create his own shot, so he's more of a guy who's a catch and shoot type guy, spot up shooter, not really a guy you're going to give the ball for ISO situations. He can struggle to score in traffic. Unlike Anthony Edwards, he doesn't have the frame to go into traffic when driving and go attack the rim. While he can also seem too passive on offense by when his teammates give him the ball, he just looks to pass, looks to not score because he doesn't want to be a negative for his team. And sometimes on defense, he can be undisciplined because he tries to do too much. He tries to do a pass interception. He tries to block every shot. And all in all, he's a great swingman who's very athletic and has a variety of skills that could be very useful at the next level. But if he doesn't become more disciplined on defense and more efficient on offense, he's not going to have the longest career. But if he can fix those improvements, which I think right now he's probably going to be a mid-lottery, so between the 12 and 18 range, I feel like, in the draft, I think he could become a really good role player for a contending team. I know some people are already going in the comment section, he's not a shooting guard, he's a point guard. Okay, so he's actually more of a combo guard who has point guard skills. So RJ Hampton, if a team wants to draft them for a point guard, sure, they can do that. But right now, I think he's better suited to be a shooting guard. 6'5", 185 pounds, WEP. Let's talk about this kid's pros, 10th best prospect, or in the top 100 prospect rank, 10th best rank. He's a very good scorer off the dribble. He's got a good mid-range shot. He excels at scoring on the move. He's a pretty good playmaker for a combo guard. And he gets rebounds for a kid of his size. And he has potential to be a decent defender because of his length and his tendencies to disrupt passing lanes. And he's a pretty gifted athlete for what he's able to do at 6'5", 185 pounds. Now, if we had to talk about his problems, he needs to prove his efficiency when it comes to shot selection and shooting, because he's not an efficient shooter currently at the moment because of shot selection and just, he needs to put more reps and build up the muscle memory in the gym. He needs to expand on his shooting range. He takes too much mid-range shots for guys. Obviously, you don't want that. You want a guy who's going to shoot either threes or attack the rim. So either or, do both. And he's prone to hosting up questionable shots, but as we saw over his time in the NBL, he's been able to work on that. As being in a professional league, he isn't allowed to take all the shots he wants, and he was coach. He can play too wildly on offense, too not erratic, but try to do too much and become turnover prone. And his defense, can be not there. His motor, or he can be have a couple defensive laps and just get beat. And his emotions get the best of him. When he gets too emotional, his game starts to get messed up. And so RJ Hampton's a speedy, skilled combo guard that will likely be a lottery pick, as he's a tremendous scorer in transition, and he will often take the ball to the basket to garner scores. Though he can play solid help defense as he gets steals and blocks, but he needs to improve his focus to be a better position defender in games. And you want to see his shot selection get better, but when he's on his game, he looks like an elite talent that could be near the top of his draft class in a few years. Hampton is a very talented prospect that could end up being one of the best players to come out of this draft class. Tyrese Maxey, you probably already read about him. All right, some people are going to try to argue again, another guy who they think is a point guard, but he's not. Look, I know he might be, 6'1 or 6'3? I can check this in 3 seconds. 6'3", 198 pounds, coming out of Garland, Texas. Averaged 14 points a game, 4.3 rebounds a game, 3.2 assists a game, while shooting 29% from the three. All right, this guy, he's like the next Lou Williams. He's going to be a great six man if somebody uses it that year, or he could even be a shooting guard. He's going to be one of the Kentucky guys that will be selected in the first round of this year's draft. And of every year draft, there is going to be a Kentucky player being drafted. So I've seen on some places him going number 15 to the Orlando Magic, team that would love a shooting guard like him. And there are parts of his game that will need to improve for him to be a successful player in the NBA, such as his shooting consistency. But I truly believe that can happen. I think there's a real chance his ceiling is a second unit scorer. But if it all comes together, I can see him putting together a career on par with Lou Williams. So with that being said, I could also see him going to the Trailblazers. I could see either Hampton or Tyrese Maxey is what teams are going to be looking for. Obviously you're not going to get a lot of defensive potential. He's one of these guys who's just a really good scorer, so you put a defensive unit around him, and he's the main scorer for that unit off the second unit to play 20 minutes a night, give you 20 points in 20 minutes. That's the type of player Tyrese Maxey is, and do it at a high efficient level. So Jamal Crawford. Last but not least, Cassius Stanley, 6'5", 193 pounds, coming out of Duke. He saw the first game of the year as a student currently at the University of Kansas when we played Duke. Oh my God, this guy put on a show against us. He averaged 12.6 points per game, almost 5 rebounds a game, assists a game, 47% from the field, and he shot 36% from 3 this year. All right, we're talking about this guy. He's a great scorer off the dribble. He can score great off-ball motion plays. He's a really good catch and shoot shooter and a spot-up shooter. He's a good rebounder for his size. Shooting guard got 5 rebounds per game in college. It's really good. He's a pretty decent defender. He anticipates passing lanes, disrupts passing lanes, gets steals and blocks. And he's a pretty gifted athlete who has a very solid motor. I don't know how I said that weird. Now, if we're talking about his weaknesses, he needs to improve his shooting. He can struggle to score in traffic. Again, he's 193 pounds wet at 6'5" only. I'm 5'11", 6'1" with shoes on. I'm 165 pounds wet. He sometimes can have defensive lapse. He needs to improve his playmaking ability. He only had 1 assist per game. You want to at least have 3. Come on. And he was overshadowed by higher profile teammates. So with that being said, if you saw in the 2019 State Farm Champion class to help get Duke a narrow win over Kansas, he just went off. He virtually came out of nowhere during that game. His eye-popping athleticism by rattling off a couple thunderous dunks in some games. He was an active playmaker on both sides. I think he has the ability to go in the late first round, early second round range, being a really good 3-and-D guy. So that's the video, guys. I really hope you guys did enjoy it. If you guys did stay to the end, you're an OG. Like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys have a great day, because I know I will. Till next, guys. Peace out.